bees.
Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is your boy Junior, aka Smoking Guns, out here in Tucson, Arizona, representing the Ultimate Fight Club, giving you the latest content in boxing and MMA news that is out. So, today's video, we're going to be talking about last night's UFC 231, Holloway versus Ortega. Dude, this was a friggin' badass fight card, had some great friggin' fights on it, and I actually missed one of the fights, which was the second fight that was on the main card, which was Hakeem Dawodu versus Kyle Bochniak. And I'm gonna go over the four main fights that I did see. I saw the first fight. I don't know what I did where I ended up missing the second fight. I think I went to go do something. I ended up missing, but I was like, damn, but it seemed like it was a really good fight. If you guys have a chance, make sure you guys go and check that fight out. But the first fight that I'm going to be going over is Thiago Santos versus Jimmy Manuwa. Man, dude, this fight was a friggin' crazy ass fight, dude. I mean, from the first minute all the way to the friggin' last second of the second round when the fight ended up getting finished by a brutal ass knockout. Now, going into that first round of this fight, dude, Thiago Santos came out, squared up with Jimmy Manuwa, and pretty much, dude, he was friggin' pouring it on, man. He was just throwing haymakers. Both of them was throwing haymakers, and he ended up dropping Jimmy Manuwa. They ended up getting into the clinch, and while they were in the clinch, dude, Thiago Santos dropped him like two more times while they were in the clinch, and Jimmy Manuwa, dude, he's a tough-ass dude because he hung up in there, stayed in the clinch, and then while they were in the clinch, dude, Jimmy Manuwa ended up dropping Thiago Santos. He dropped Thiago Santos, I think, twice in the clinch. And when they were breaking off the clinch, dude, they were throwing nothing but haymakers. They were throwing haymaker punches, spinning back kicks, spinning back fists, elbows, everything that you could name, knees in the clinch, dude. It was a friggin' barn burner type of fight, man. Dude, they were friggin' going. And at the end of the round, you could see that Jimmy Manuwa had hurt Thiago Santos, and Thiago Santos started trying to back away from him, and he threw like this haymaker, jumping, spinning back kick, tried to get Jimmy Manuwa off, and then he came with a friggin' tornado kick just out of nowhere, dude, just like a haymaker tornado kick. Ended up falling to the floor, throwing the kick. Jimmy Manuwa jumped on top of him, was trying to control him, trying to finish him off, and that was pretty much the end of the round. And then going into the second round, they pretty much started exactly where they finished off from that first round, where they started throwing haymakers. Jimmy Manuwa ended up clinching up with Thiago Santos, ended up hurting him in the clinch, and then all of a sudden, Thiago Santos ended up spinning him, ended up hitting him with a vicious knee, man, and that knee, you could tell it effed up Jimmy Manuwa because he kind of buckled down a little bit, trying to hide his body. And dude, Thiago Santos started pouring it on Jimmy Manuwa, just kind of ended up making a little bit of space, started throwing a bunch of haymakers, and it just straight crumbled Jimmy Manuwa, dude. It crumbled him on the fence, and the referee had to come and break him off. It was almost like two big-ass gorillas friggin' fighting up in that mug, dude. But, yo, it was a friggin' super entertaining fight, and, dude, hats off to Thiago Santos for pulling off that win. Man, he made a friggin' really big statement in that damn light heavyweight division, especially coming up from the damn middleweight division. Dude, he did a really friggin' good job in that damn fight, man. It was a brutal ass fight, and dude, you can't ask for nothing more than that, especially for the first fight starting off a card, because it really set off the tone of that card. Now, going into the next fight that I saw, because like I said, I missed the second fight, but I ended up seeing the Gunnar Nelson and the Alex Oliveira fight, and I thought it would be a pretty entertaining fight. It'd be kind of funny to see because Alex Oliveira, he's kind of like a go-for-broke type of dude. Anyway, Gunnar Nelson, his style can be a little bit more methodical, and it can create a boring fight, but it was an actually very entertaining fight. Pretty much, they kind of started going at it. Gunnar Nelson came out looking like friggin' Karate Kid. I can tell he'd been training with friggin' Conor McGregor. He came out in a friggin' little karate stance, and he came with like a lunging lead hook. Boom. Stuck Alex Oliveira with it, and they ended up in the clinch. They ended up getting on the cage, and Gunnar Nelson was kind of grinding him on the cage, trying to get the takedown, and you could see he picked him up to go for the takedown, but Alex Oliveira, you could tell he just straight grabbed the fence to try to stop the takedown. So the ref had to come in, stop it, warn Alex Oliveira for grabbing the fence. But Gunnar Nelson ended up getting the takedown anyway, Alex Oliveira tried to scramble. When he scrambled, Gunnar Nelson took his back, got the triangle from the back on him to be able to maintain that control, trying to get the rear naked choke. Alex Oliveira ended up reversing that position and ended up getting on top, being in Gunnar Nelson's guard. While he was in the guard, dude, he started raining down some heavy ground and pound on Gunnar Nelson, and Alex Oliveira went to posture up, started raining down blows on Gunnar Nelson, and Gunnar Nelson ended up going for a heel hook. It went from a heel hook to a straight ankle lock, and Alex Oliveira, he was defending it very well, ended up just kind of striking friggin' Gunnar Nelson while they were friggin' on the ground. While he was defending, he started elbowing Gunnar Nelson's legs, and that pretty much ended off that round. And then going into the second round, Gunnar Nelson, they ended up exchanging a couple of little strikes. Gunnar Nelson pressed him up against the fence, and then bam, all of a sudden he got that takedown. And as soon as he got that takedown, he sliced through Alex Oliveira's legs, ended up getting the mount damn near immediately. So he was controlling Oliveira from that mount, and then he started posturing up, raining down some elbows here and there. And then when he really committed to posturing up, to raining down some elbows, dude, it split Alex Oliveira open so bad, dude. Friggin' blood was just like friggin' squirting out like a friggin' fountain, dude. It looked like friggin' Hellraiser, dog. Friggin' blood squirting all over the friggin' place. Alex Oliveira turned because he was all effed up, and as soon as he turned, Gunnar Nelson took the back, sunk in that rear naked choke, and as soon as he started squeezing, dude, blood just started squirting out like scat, like God, dude, it looked friggin' nasty as hell. But Gunnar Nelson ended up getting the submission with the rear naked choke, and dude, it was actually a super entertaining fight, dude. That was a really good fight, and hats off to Gunnar Nelson for being able to get that win. It was super entertaining, and dude, it was a really great fight. Now, going into the co-main event, Valentina Shevchenko versus JOANNA JEDRZEJCZYK, okay? Now, this was a really good fight. This fight pretty much played out exactly like I knew it would. Valentina Shevchenko, she's the bigger girl coming into this, and she literally dominated the fight from start to finish. In the first round, they started exchanging some strikes, and you could tell that Valentina was not giving JOANNA strikes any kind of respect, dude. She was just walking through her leg kicks, countering with the straight left. She was just countering her the whole time. And then what really surprised me is during an exchange, Valentina grabbed JOANNA, got a takedown immediately, bam. And you could tell that she was way stronger than JOANNA, because every time they clinched during the fight, dude, as soon as she grabbed her, she'd be able to get a takedown at will, being able to get the takedown, but she wasn't able to control JOANNA all the way, because JOANNA would still be able to fight to be able to get back to her feet. That would pretty much be able to credit her grappling ability, being able to get up from being taken down, because she's a striker. She always wants to keep it standing up. But Valentina, dude, she was a strong girl. You could tell that there was a major size difference between the two, because every time that they would clinch, she would be able to get control of the clinch, being able to control JOANNA on the fence, being able to get takedowns almost at will. But she just wasn't able to control JOANNA all the way fully on the ground, because JOANNA would be able to scramble, being able to get back up to her feet. And Valentina, she was literally controlling every aspect of the fight, from the stand-up all the way to the grappling. During the whole fight, she would literally be able to walk through JOANNA's strikes, being able to land her own strikes effectively, landing straight lefts, landing combinations, spinning back kicks. She was landing some really nice spinning back kicks on JOANNA, being able to check JOANNA's leg kicks, countering her leg kicks with strikes. And dude, it was a really good fight. And JOANNA, in that last round, you could see she was really trying to turn it up. She was able to land some very effective strikes in that last round, but they just weren't enough, because Valentina, she would still be able to get the clinch, get JOANNA on the cage, being able to control JOANNA, and she literally rode out a unanimous decision victory on JOANNA. So hats off to Valentina Shevchenko for becoming the UFC women's flyweight champion, winning that 125-pound belt. And dude, she is now the new champion in that flyweight division. And it's going to be really hard to see any other chick be able to get that belt from her, because dude, like I said, she's very versatile in her striking and her grappling, very strong woman. Her wrestling ability is good enough to be able to negate others' wrestling, and her grappling ability is good enough to be able to negate other people's grappling ability. and her submissions are very underrated, and I think that she could be able to be a long reigning champion in that division. Now, going into the main event with Max Holloway and BRIAN Ortega. Dude, this was a badass fight. Now, I came up with a video on this, and my prediction on this was wrong. I either had BRIAN Ortega winning by stoppage or Max Holloway winning by decision. And I even said in that last video that I was leaning toward BRIAN Ortega at first until I started really thinking about the killer that Max Holloway is. And I'm like, dude, the dude is just a friggin' scrapper. The dude is a friggin' fighter, dude. And there's no way that BRIAN Ortega can just outdo this homie the way that a lot of people might have thought that he would be able to, because he has the striking and the grappling ability to be able to negate a lot of fighters' strengths. So even with BRIAN Ortega's strengths, Holloway still has the ability to negate it, but Ortega is just a friggin' beast. He never quits. He just comes and he tries to do anything that he can to finish you. And that's exactly what this fight was, dude. It was a barn burner fight from start to friggin' finish, man. Dude, they were just going at it as soon as they squared off, man. They were exchanging really good blows, and you could tell that the stand-up of Max Holloway was just too much for Ortega. He didn't have the power that Ortega had, but it was just the volume and the aggressiveness of Max Holloway's strikes was really too much for Ortega. And even when Max Holloway would get into his rhythm with the strikes, you could tell the power difference, because BRIAN Ortega, he would hit friggin' Max Holloway with the counter right, and you could tell the power difference, dude. It would rock Holloway a little bit, and Holloway would have to get his senses in order to be able to get back into it. But just the aggressiveness of Holloway, sticking Ortega with lefts and rights, man, dude, it was friggin' vicious the way that Max Holloway was giving it to Ortega on the feet. And then when Ortega would try to get a friggin' takedown, it just was not going down, dude. Holloway, he had great takedown defense, and man, he was friggin' giving it to him from start to finish. And he was damn near running away with the fight until going into the third round, where BRIAN Ortega started getting his rhythm with his 1-2. And like I said, those counter rights that BRIAN Ortega was hitting Holloway with, dude, he was friggin' giving it to Max Holloway, man. It was making it a very exciting fight, man. And I actually gave BRIAN Ortega that third round because you could see that he was wobbling Max Holloway, and Holloway was trying to do everything he can to stay in that fight, but Ortega just could not finish, man. He had Holloway on that fence, just throwing nonstop punches, trying to get his ass out of there. And, dude, it was a really good fight. But going into that fourth round, it's funny, man. Max Holloway looked at Joe Rogan and said, "I'm finishing the fight this round." And when he said that, dude, Holloway went up in there and he just started friggin' giving it to BRIAN Ortega, dude. Started hitting him with some combinations. Ortega was still trying to use that counter right, but it wasn't landing as effective as it was, because you could see that Max Holloway was watching out for it now. He knew that it was going to be very detrimental to him. So every time he would come in with the strikes, bop, 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 he would pop back out, waiting for that counter right to get thrown, come back in with the strikes. And, dude, he was busting Ortega's face all up, friggin' blood coming all out of his face, friggin' eyes swelled shut, man. He was effed up, man. I cannot say how many strikes Max Holloway threw in that round, but you could tell, dude, if it would have went another minute, it's very possible that he would have finished Ortega. And Ortega was just going for broke, man, going for broke with haymakers, trying to get the clinch, trying to get the takedown. He even jumped guard on Max Holloway while they were clenched up. He jumped guard, couldn't do nothing with it, had to let it go, and Max Holloway was just giving it to his ass while they were trading off with strikes. And then while they were at their corners, the doctors came in. They had to stop the fight, dude. Ortega's face was so busted up. His eye was so swollen. Dude, it was it, man. If he would have came into that fifth round, and you got to give it up to BRIAN Ortega, because the dude is no hoe, he would have went into that fifth round, and he probably would have went through that fifth round getting his ass tore up and still wouldn't have got finished, and he still would have went through that fifth round just getting his ass tore up, dude. So that dude is a straight up super soldier. You got to give BRIAN Ortega his props on that. And, man, it was a freaking super entertaining fight. And hats off to Max Holloway getting his 13th win. Dude, I don't know what he's going to do now. I do not see anybody in that featherweight division effing with Max Holloway. Personally, I might as well see him go up to the friggin' lightweight division, challenge himself in that lightweight division, and possibly even fight for that damn lightweight belt. So he could be a defending champion at featherweight and lightweight if he's able to get that lightweight belt, man. So it's going to be a super exciting time for those two divisions to see where Max Holloway goes. And I guess we'll just have to see what happens from here, man. So I hope you guys like the video. If you guys like the video, make sure to hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you guys have any kind of questions, any kind of comments on this fight, make sure to hit me up in the comment section and I'll be sure to hit you guys up. Okay. So I hope you like the video. Holla at your boy.